Hello there, my friends. It is I, the GrimDark narrator, once again. So, it has been a few days, but worry not, because I have not been idle. Once again, I would kindly request that you watch this video all the way to the end, especially if you're interested in both the future of my content and how you can, watch it or reach it nowadays, now that the channel has been disabled. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, there's actually not a lot of good news to share, but I did finally manage to get some replies from one of the support services from Google/YouTube that I've been emailing. And I'm gonna do my best to explain to you the way things are and from what I understood from their replies. It's nothing good for the channel, but at the very least it's a lot more informative. Now, you all know my issue and what happened to me. I literally made a video about it on this channel. You can go watch that if you haven't. So I'm not gonna go into all that again. And instead, we're just gonna get straight into the first reply I got from YouTube itself, right? So, without further ado, let's take a look. So this one is the reply I got from basically explaining everything that's happened to me and asking as much as I could or as much as I thought I should ask at the time. And we're gonna go through this like sentence by sentence. Hello, thank you for your patience. We received an update from the copyright team, and upon careful review, we've determined that the videos were removed as a result of a complete and facially valid takedown notice submitted by Markscan Enforcement. Now, what a complete and facially valid takedown notice actually is your guess is as good as mine. Please note that as an online platform, YouTube is unable to mediate rights disputes or make determinations that require a detailed factual or legal assessment, such as determining ownership rights. But you are doing it, you're doing it for a company that doesn't have the rights. What? Anyway, moving on. You have two options to resolve your copyright strikes and restore your channel. Now this I covered before, but let's go through it anyway. Number 1, you may seek a retraction by asking the person who submitted a copyright removal request against your videos to withdraw their copyright removal request. But this is not possible. Like literally, this is not possible. Those people cannot be contacted. Their email doesn't work. Their other email, the one that does work, gets no response. Their contact form on their website doesn't work. So how do you contact them to mediate? You can't. Number 2, you may submit a valid counter notification if you believe that your video was removed as a result of a mistake or misidentification of the material to be removed. More on this later. You can also submit a request to find specific information about your account penalties. At least this is something. I haven't actually done this yet because I know which of my counters were accepted and which were rejected. But I will do it really soon because it has been those 10 days that should have passed for the company to present themselves, or else those counters would be, well, those strikes would be removed. Those 10 days are going to be up, like tomorrow or in another day or two. On the other hand, we understand your concern regarding the termination of your channel while you have counter notifications pending. To clarify, if you submit counter notifications that bring your copyright strike under 3, and those counter notifications are forwarded to the claimant, your channel will not be terminated, and your uploadability will be restored. If your copyright strikes are resolved by retraction, your channel won't be terminated. Both of these irrelevant now because the channel is gone while that stuff was ongoing. But I actually got I actually got the reply to that because this is the first email. I've sent them like a few more questions after this, and I actually learned more about the situation than I previously comprehended. Moment. In your specific case, the counter notifications processed so far have not been sufficient to bring your total strikes below the threshold. Please keep in mind that submitting a counter notification does not automatically result in it being forwarded or the strike being removed. This is a part of it. They're also kind enough to send me a list of all the batches of strikes and the stuff that got rejected and the stuff that got accepted, or forwarded rather. And we're going to go through those too as well in a few moments. Yeah, because several videos within each strike group had their counter notifications rejected, the strikes themselves remain active on your account. Even with the forwarded notifications, the total number of unresolved strikes was not dropped below the threshold of 3. Please keep in mind that for a strike to be removed via counter notification, all videos associated with that specific strike must be successfully forwarded or retracted. Yeah, and here is maybe the most tedious and unfair and machine bullshit logic reason why I can't get the channel saved thus far. I simply didn't have enough accepted counter notifications. So according to their logic, my complaining that the channel was terminated early and unfairly is irrelevant. Because even with those 7 accepted counters which I had, the channel would have been terminated anyway. Because I didn't remove, the strikes themselves, which, as mentioned a couple of times already, are actually batches of strikes, to make it even more tedious and difficult and bullshit to deal with. And because I didn't have enough of those counters accepted to get the copyright strikes under 3, and let's not even mention the fact that the quote-unquote problem that all 27 videos were struck for is exactly the same. But I actually asked them about that too, and they answered. And I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. So the system accepting some counters and rejecting others doesn't make sense. Another issue I've pressed on earlier. This is not fair. This should not be even legal. Like I said, I did send a follow-up email with a question regarding exactly that, and I did get an answer. It's kind of a nonsensical answer and reasoning, but, at least we have one. And I'm actually going to show you that in, like, a few moments. Yeah, so this was the first email from them. And this is the second one I sent them with some clarifications I wanted to have. And I'm going to read out these questions. There's only 4 points I made here. Like I said, I still have some questions about my situation, and I numbered them so I can get actual clear responses as much as possible. Number 1, the accepted and rejected counter notifications are all based around an identical issue. Why did some get accepted and some get rejected? In a case like this, where the videos are just chapters of the same recording, if one counter notification gets accepted, then they should all get accepted, or, rejected. But not randomly taken or not taken willy-nilly. It is inadmissible that valid counter notifications be rejected on the whims of the automated system, when they were identically valid to the notifications that were accepted. Question number 2. Just so I understand this correctly, if the number of accepted counter notifications doesn't bring the total number of strikes to 3 or less, I realize that the strikes are more like batches of strikes, then the ones that are accepted are irrelevant? Or do they still count if I can get the remaining ones accepted? This was just me basically asking if I should focus on the rejected videos from within each, from within each copyright strike. And yeah, that was exactly the way I thought it was. Number 3, does submitting counter notifications via email still function like it did via YouTube Studio? Do these still count? This is just me asking if I should even bother to send these via email, but apparently I can, and they still do count, like you're gonna see in a moment. And the 4th question I had, how does YouTube judge if the strikes are valid? The company that did this is proven to have issued false and wrongful strikes before, including other creators who were just as unjustly copyright struck, like Amber King. Can anyone issue copyright strikes and then ghost whoever they strike, and then that channel is doomed because I couldn't be reached? This is another thing that baffles me. Like, almost anyone can issue a copyright strike, and then they go off the grid, so they can't be reached, and that channel is doomed if the defendant can't get through the nonsense counter notification system, because the only other option, which is contacting me, would be unavailable. There need to be better safeguards from people who accuse either maliciously or simply wrongly. Anyway, one moment. And yeah, like I said, I did get answers to all of these, which I'm going to show you. Okay, so yeah, thanks for circling back. At number 1, know that, and this is our biggest boo-boo that we have to deal with. My first question, know that while it is the same recorded chapters, different references or submissions of ownership might have been used by the claimant to submit a removal request to your video. This means that submitting the same counter notification doesn't guarantee that it will be forwarded to the claimant. So yeah. So this thing is the crux of the entire issue. This is what makes or breaks any of my attempts to remove the strikes, or rather get those damn things accepted so that then the strikes get removed. So this answer tells me that I'm basically shooting in the dark. I can't even counter the unfair copyright strike because I don't know the specifics of each individual strike. But even that defies logic, because those 7 accepted counters were all spread through those groups of strikes. Yeah. So I didn't get like all 5 videos from one strike accepted. They were spread out. Like, I had like 1 accepted in one group, 2 accepted in another group, 2 accepted in another group, and so on. Does that mean that whoever did this went through the process 27 times, and every time they did something slightly different in the copyright strike process? Who even does that? That's beyond malicious. And I don't know, because I've never done a copyright strike, because, for one, I like to think I have a conscience. But back to the issue. This does leave me with randomly formulating counter notifications and hoping that by some mathematical miracle, the automated system with capital A doesn't reject it. Which again begs the question, how did those accepted ones get through them? Because I've used, since then, I've used multiple formats, multiple arguments, multiple types of address in formulating them. And they all got rejected. So far. I'm gonna keep trying because it's literally the only thing I can do. Because the system seems determined to believe that I have no case. Moving on to the other answers, though, these mostly just clarified what I already knew, but, you know, at least it's now it's a bit clearer. Like at number 2, yes, if you do have multiple videos under one strike and only one was reinstated, the strike will remain on the channel. This is, I can't describe how dumb this is. Why are there batches of strikes? If you had, let's say you had 5 problematic videos, you have to fight for each and every one to get rid of just one strike. How is that? How does that work? Why not just issue 5 strikes? You know, and you deal with each one individually, and when you deal with one, it gets removed. You don't have to deal with this subdivision bullshit. At number 3, yes, this is just them confirming that I can still send these damn things via email, even if I don't have YouTube Studio. And at number 4, where I asked how do they judge if the claims are correct or legal, we abide by the DMCA law, whereas if the claimant submits a complete removal request, we will need to remove that video. Does that make sense? Like, there's no verification? What? The number 4, this can only make me wonder what they think is a complete removal request. Like, how does that actually work? Because given what I've learned of the process so far, the advantage is overwhelmingly in favor of whoever issues the strikes. It doesn't seem to matter how malicious or illegitimate the claim is, or how innocent and within their own rules the content or creator of the video is. They just have to remove the video. It could be freaking Charles Manson, or the ghost of Charles Manson, who makes the removal request. It doesn't matter to them. It just doesn't matter. It will go through. And damn the defendant to the forever hell of these damn counter notifications and being at the mercy of AI. Anyway, sorry for ranting a bit there. Moving on. Maybe the saddest thing of all of this, though, is that there's no way to have, like, a custom counter notification process, for lack of a better term. You know, one where a flesh and blood person looks at the groups of these notifications, or copyright strikes, whatever. All 27 of them in my case, and anyone with a brain, at least in my opinion, should go, these few got accepted, but these other few did not get accepted. But the problem is the same across all of them. Anyone who isn't a machine would realize that something is not right here. But no. Of course, the only recourse I have, even according to YouTube staff, is to use the damn counter notifications, which apparently have no one who actually checks to see if they're working properly or not. It just feels hopeless. It feels like getting my channel back this way is almost hopeless. Not because there hasn't been an injustice done to me, but because the process simply doesn't let me, work the problem. The only other option I have is to sue them, and obviously I can't afford that because I'm not going to say I'm starving poor, but I'm not rich. I can't afford a lawyer. Can't afford to go through trial, which might even take years or something. And, well, that was pretty much it on the current state of my hellish odyssey. Now, for the second half of the video, I would like to go over some more positive aspects, namely the rebuilding of the old content. Now, just like in the last video, I'm gonna be leaving all the relevant links in the Apologies. I'm gonna leave all the relevant links in the description. Also, as I mentioned before, you can join me on Rumble, where I've begun to re-upload content regularly every day, or at least I try to. I'm gonna do my best to keep up that schedule. So far, I've done between like 4 to 6 or 7 videos a day. I would upload even a bit more, but I'm just afraid of triggering some anti-spam measure there or something. So I think maybe that's a reasonable number for the time being. I don't actually know what the limit is for uploads on Rumble. I don't even know what the limit is on YouTube, because I've only ever uploaded like 1 or 2 videos a day on YouTube. But for now, yeah, I'm gonna post 4 to 7 videos on Rumble, and I'm gonna try to diversify the playlists. So people who like Warhammer 40k, BattleTech, Warhammer Fantasy should, at some point in the near future, like in another week or two, I'm gonna have playlists going for all of those series as much as I can. For those who are already there, on Rumble that is, but this is also for those who are tempted to join. The best way to help there is to simply leave a like for the videos and try to watch them either to the end or, as much of the video or videos as possible. You don't even have to actually watch it, you can just leave it running. The goal here is to generate some traffic for those videos and just tell the system that the videos are good as much as I can and as much as you can. And obviously the best way to do that is to leave likes, comments, and, watch the video to the end, or watch most of the video if not. Yeah. I'm definitely not gonna be able to earn a living on Rumble, especially not with the traffic that I have right now. But I'm not actually trying to do that at the moment. I'm simply trying to rebuild the library from the old channel somewhere else, so that anyone can just go there and watch my old stuff if they want. Or at the very least, have a place where that stuff is available, it exists, and it, most important of all, is not in danger. Now, for narrations, you are gonna have to join me on Patreon. But the good news is you can do it for free. Ever since my channel disaster, there's about 300 people there now. And I've actually begun to post there more regularly too, and I'm also posting updates as I develop the page as best as I can. If you've ever enjoyed my narrations, whether it's Gotrek and Felix, or Sigmar, or Knights of Bretonia, or, Fankol and Bone Ripper, or whatnot, or other things I did like Battletech, stories, or heck, even H.P. Lovecraft, or Conan, or other things, yeah, you are gonna be able to find it there slowly. So please consider joining me there. One of my most important hopes and goals right now is to actually get as many people from the old community there, either there on Patreon or on Rumble. Because if I manage that, especially on Patreon, there's an actual hope that I can continue there for the foreseeable future, as in continue being a content creator, I mean. And that is I'm sorry. And that is definitely something I would like to do. Finally, regarding this channel, GrimDark Lore, according to something I've learned from another stricken creator, sadly enough, it's definitely not a good idea to try to monetize it. Because YouTube might quote-unquote sniff it out and shut it down because of their no secondary channels rule that I described earlier. I mean, I can't monetize it now anyway because I don't meet the requirements and I have no content there. It's outside of these last 2 update videos. And I need like 3,000 watchtowers prior to applying. But I am still considering uploading maybe some lore videos from my newer playlists. Some of the newer stuff maybe. But I'm also positively terrified of triggering YouTube's Order 66 and waking up one day with this channel gone as well. Which is one of the main reasons why I'm urging people to go to my Rumble or Patreon. Not because I need them to give me more money, although that would help. No, my goal is just so you, the audience, and people who were on my bigger channel, the suspended channel, that you have a backup for my content. Or at least a place where you can, contact me or interact with me or with my old videos. Because if this channel goes too, I have no other way of contacting the people who migrated here outside of those two channels. Of course, you can join me on Twitter and whatnot, on Facebook. I mentioned this before, but in case you don't know, you're worse than a mass murderer in YouTube's eyes if you have a suspended channel. You can't even have a channel for personal use anymore, at least according to their rules. One where you saved a couple of songs in a playlist, or maybe like some cooking recipes or workout videos or something. No. No YouTube for you, son. No siree. Now, for closing, because I think this video went on long enough already, I would like to thank all the content creators and the many hundreds of people, regular viewers, who had given me their best and supported me morally throughout this dark period. I did get a lot more support than I thought I would ever get. And it is thanks to you, all of you who maybe shared encouragement or a kind word. It is actually thanks to you that I even got this far. Now, most of you probably don't know this, but I'm a pretty nihilistic and fatalistic person. So I don't know what I would have done, but I don't think I would have been able to endure all this or get this far without support from people on the old channel and people outside the channel as well on the internet. Honestly, I just wish I thought about migrating people to Rumble and Patreon sooner. Because back when I had 64,000 subs, maybe, I don't know, I could have guided more people to the new hubs so they have access to all that stuff. Anyway, that's it from me for now. Until next update, the Emperor protects, my friends. Bye-bye.